Alrighty, folks, it is Diecastbuffet here again. Today we have a blast from the past and a paint scheme that ran at the O2 Coca-Cola 600. It is Ricky Rudd's Iron Man paint scheme, and let's go ahead and do a diecast review. Alrighty, folks, turn off the good old rotating base, and let's dive into today's diecast review. First off, thank y'all for tuning in. You know, always appreciate it. Guys, we got a really cool paint scheme in the studio today. It is a very special paint scheme of mine. A little bit of a story we'll be telling about this car and why it's so nostalgic to me, but we're going to just dive on into it. So this was a paint scheme it was commemorative of the Iron Man Award in NASCAR, something we will never, and I mean never, see again, with drivers having to sit out for really anything nowadays. That's just it's just a change in the sport. Jeff Gordon is the current Iron Man in NASCAR, where he did not miss a single race in his entire career. I think it's like 739 consecutive races. This is 656 races. There's 36 races each year. I mean, think about that. That means this guy raced through I think the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and he didn't miss a single race that entire time. That's insane, especially when you look at the crazy wrecks they had in those years. Absolutely remarkable stuff. Anyways, he ran this at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I think he was passing Terry Labonte's Iron Man award. He was passing him because Terry Labonte was the original Iron Man. He's got Havoline, Iron Man Ricky Rudd, 656 consecutive starts. You go to the front of the car. I love this pop rivet kind of design around it. Iron, quote unquote. Just look at the pop rivets. It's such a beautiful car. Reminds me of like a 40s or 50s aircraft. The silver chrome look to it with all the pop rivet design. Very Air Force inspired, in my opinion. Got Taurus right there in the front. Got the Robert Yates Racing decal there for it. Number 28. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Go to the left side of the diecast, and again, you can just see the beautiful silver paint job. And I personally think this was a heavy inspiration for Haviline's transition to Chip Ganassi Racing in 2003 when they sponsored then rookie Jamie McMurray, because they had a very similar color palette as this. It was silver, it was black, and a little bit of blue on the 42 car, which was such a beautiful paint scheme. So you got Chevron right there, Havoline, Texaco, a lot of petroleum on this one. Ray Bestos, Ricky Rudd. You got Texaco, Havoline, Coca-Cola, Ford. Get the number 28. Again, just super beautiful pop rivet design around this very shiny, very metallic-y silver paint job. You got NASCAR Cup Series. Got all these nostalgic sponsors. This car is also featured on NASCAR Thunder 2003. I don't think it's on NASCAR 04. Yeah, it's not on NASCAR 04 because the 28 car was gone by then. But what a beautiful, beautiful looking race car. The windows just have a slight tint of yellowing to it. You can tell that by the side view because the plastic is thicker from that angle. So you can really tell if the plastic's starting to yellow. Go to the back end of the diecast here. Got the Havoline decal once again. Such a beautiful paint scheme. Got the Texaco decal there, number 28. Got the, once again, a messed up Ford decal. This is probably from wear. If you scrape another car behind it, eventually it's going to scratch some of the paint or the decals. This car was used when I bought it, so that's expected. They did make a buttload of these diecasts, though, back in the early 2000s. Go to the right side of the car, and you can just see how, like, the lettering on the tires are so much thicker than we get nowadays. The fonts were just a little bit, I don't know, a little bit bolder, so to speak, back on the earlier diecast molds. Not that it doesn't look good, but I definitely prefer the modern printing. It's a little, I say modern, I meant like late 2010s, because the printing, I think it was late 2019 to present day, which is 2024. The printing is a little bit more blurry, a little bit more pixelated. But if you look at like the 2010s era of diecast, the printing is a lot sharper. The lettering's a little bit smaller. It just looks a little bit more realistic. And if you look at the 124s, the same way applies. The fonts back then were a little bit bolder, and it's not as realistic to the real car. Go to the top of the diecast, and this is a beautiful touch. So the outline of the 28 is actually transparent. You can see the silver paint job underneath. That is so cool. It's either transparent or it's actually a silver decal there. That is remarkable. Then you have the little blue stripes on the top of the diecast. Very, very sharp. I mean, this car is so cool. It ran the Coca-Cola 600 that year in '02. Mark Martin would actually go on to win that race. And just such an awesome, awesome looking car. Get Express Lube right there on the deck lid. And again, if this is not silvery enough and metallic enough, I don't know what is, because this thing is absolutely a glitter, silver paint job. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Now, just for comparison, we're going to show the primary car from '02. Both of these cars, of course, are on Thunder 2003. But you can see how just how cool these cars look. I mean, actually, no, I don't know if this car is on Thunder 2003. I'll have to triple check. I think it is. But anyways, what an awesome, awesome pair of diecasts, man. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Similar paint schemes, but just enough alternate to it. And this is back in an era when alternate paint schemes, I mean, you would get excited about, because they were not super common in the 90s. I mean, they had them, but it was like, it was all-star event. It was Bud Shootout. It was kind of once or twice a year. It's not like nowadays where Eric Almirola has 38 paint schemes in 36 races. Don't ask me how that's possible, but but back then, if Dale Jr. was running the Bud baseball car at the Pepsi 400, that was a big deal, right? If Jeff Gordon's running a special paint scheme for the Daytona 500 that year, that's a big deal. Same concept with this Ricky Rudd car. And this is also back to a time when they would market their paint schemes months and months in advance. I mean, it wasn't, oh, next week they're going to Martinsville, so let's start marketing the diecast for it. No, they do this crap. They would be marketing this paint scheme probably December, maybe even November the year prior. And they would make sure they had all their diecasts ready to go before the season even started. About that story I was going to tell about this paint scheme. So I remember back in 2004, Jimmy McMurray was a rookie that year. They had a paint scheme that was actually very similar to the 2001 Havoline Texaco car. Anyways, they had a Texaco station in my town. And they had Jay McMurray's show card there, and they had a bunch of memorabilia, Havoline, Texaco stuff. Well, inevitably, they had this diecast in the Winter Circle line in the 124 scale. I remember picking that up. It had like a little card deal that had like Jay McMurray's signature on it. I think it was printed. I don't think he actually signed it. But it was really cool, commemorating his rookie season. And it was just, or I say rookie season, his second full-time season. Anyways, he was a young cat in the sport. But it was just so cool seeing this diecast there and picking that up. And especially in a super small town like mine, seeing like a NASCAR event there was really freaking cool. And it just showed you how large the sport was. I mean, you would go to the grocery store and almost every time you look at the cereal aisle, there was always a NASCAR driver on a box somewhere. It was somewhere you would see a Dale Jr. or a Kurt Busch or something. There was a NASCAR advertisement, or buy this box of cereal and you get a NASCAR holographic card or something. I mean, NASCAR was just gargantuan. Lottery tickets, fishing poles. It didn't matter what it was. They were on it. So this paint scheme just takes me back to a very cool time in my life, and that was just so cool. I wish they would do something like that nowadays, but you just rarely see show car events anymore, unless you're like in Daytona or like maybe, I don't know, freaking Nashville for whenever they had their first race there. Obviously the North Carolina area, but in Texas, good luck finding something like that. Thank you all for watching, everybody. Have a blessed one, everybody. Make sure to comment down below. Hey, maybe you like this diecast, maybe you don't. I think it's pretty cool. Diecast Buffet, signing off.